Hello and welcome to another anime lore and theory video. I'm Shergok, your host, and today we are going to take a closer look at what the Dragonlords of the New World thought about Ainz ooal. But before we go on to take a closer look at all of this, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, and say my thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. And with that said, let's take a look at the topic at hand. Elim los Malwar, the so-called Elder Coven Dragonlord, is one of the Dragonlords that despises players in general, and Ainz ooal in particular. The dragon gathered strength over the centuries, learned new spells, trained and improved himself step by step, eventually even becoming undead, and wiped out an entire kingdom in the process. Now therefore he was not exactly the nicest or most considerate person that existed in the new world of Overlord to begin with, but even by his own standards, Elim had a special disdain for players and an even greater hatred for Ainz ooal, or rather Satoru Suzuki, as he was known in the bonus volume. And this contempt of Elim los Malwar for Ainz ooal comes, on the one hand, naturally because his own kind was pushed to the brink of extinction by the War of the Eight Great Kings. The dragons previously ruled their world. They were the undisputed rulers of the world, and only the emergence of players, the contamination of their own magic, and the Great War of the Eight Great Kings a century later pushed Elim's kind to the verge of destruction. Elim was alive during this time, but he did not dare to fight against the kings, because he was too cowardly, or rather, he was clever enough to save his own life, instead of participating in a war he would likely not have survived. Only after Elim became aware of the extent of the destruction of his kind, and only after the kings were gone, did he train himself and his body to be able to fight against players in the future. And we don't know how Elim was before his time as an undead, and whether or not he was maybe nice, shy and lovable in his youth, many centuries ago. However, by now, Elim is cruel, arrogant and relatively vain. During the first battle with Ainz ooal, he underestimated Ainz, whom he considered to be a simple night lich. Something Ainz, of course, intended and greatly benefited from. He saw Ainz as a being from the new world and was amused that this clown, this joker, would dare to attack him, a mighty dragonlord. So Elim experimented with Ainz ooal, testing spells, combat strategies, and playing with the seemingly weaker opponent, who appeared increasingly desperate. Basically, he used Ainz like a cat would use a ball of yarn. So despite his emotions being regulated down, because Elim is an undead as well, he clearly enjoyed this first fight against Ainz. But his attitude changed quickly when Ainz withdrew, devised a strategy, and then in the second battle, after gathering all of the information about Elim, became actually serious and tried to vanquish the Dragonlord in earnest. So his demeanor changed. Elim unleashed his wrath on players, making it clear to Ainz ooal how much he despised him. And this disdain stemmed partially from Ainz' perceived unfair fighting style, because he tricked Elim in basically showing his entire hand and his abilities off, and instead of engaging in a fair one-on-one battle, Ainz summoned all the possible help he could get. This effective and ruthless pragmatism, coupled with the fact that Elim, a proud dragonlord, had been deceived by Ainz, a mere player, and that the battle was turning against him, fueled his rage and anger to the point that even his undead emotional dampener struggled to contain it. And only when the situation looked dire did Elim forgot his pride and used his full abilities. For the temper tantrum-throwing Elder Coffin Dragonlord was actually able to use tier magic the entire time, but just because he despised Ainz and players and their magic so much, he was too proud to use it, until he became too desperate to not use it. So while Ainz ooal remained calm and strategic-minded, using his magical powers with restraint in order to make Elim think that he had the upper hand in the first battle. In order to then destroy him in the second, Elim provoked him, belittled him, and later cursed him before being destroyed. And we also know the opinion of another Dragonlord about Ainz ooal, Platinum Dragonlord, likely the strongest surviving dragon, and he had a more nuanced view of Ainz compared to Elim. Platinum Dragonlord too did not express positive sentiments about players and NPCs, to say the absolute least, which again is understandable considering the apparent harm they had caused to his kin. Platinum's mother suffered at the hand of players, and Platinum's father, the Dragon Emperor, attacked the players, possibly during the war against the 8 Great Kings, or just before it. Naturally, Platinum also suffered from the fact that the original magic of the New World, wild magic, became more challenging to use with the arrival of the players. And despite this, Platinum had, at least temporarily, collaborated with a player, the leader of the 13 heroes, to be a bit more precise. This player was, according to Evil Eye, who was also a member of the 13 heroes back then, initially the weakest member of his party, and only became the strongest towards the end of the journey, surpassing even Platinum's armor. And this raises the question of why Platinum didn't eliminate the player if he had such contempt for them, especially because early on it was quite a manageable thing to do. And I think that on the one hand he might have believed that this is a necessary evil, because 200 years ago a significantly greater evil also came to the New World, causing devastation, the evil deities, and Platinum was therefore determined to fight fire with fire, it seemed. Alternatively, he could have believed that this player was actually fighting for the salvation of the New World, convincing Platinum that not all players were inherently bad. This in turn could also explain why he did not intervene when Ainz let his mask literally fall, revealing himself as an undead overlord and annihilating the army of Ainz. He wanted to see how Ainz ooal, who had not openly revealed his intentions until then, would behave, and how dangerous he is going to be. As absurd as this may sound, Ainz apparently had not violated any boundaries when he wiped out an entire army nearly completely. Again, Platinum sees himself as the guardian of the New World, and the New World is not a friendly paradisical place. It is a battleground, filled with a constant struggle for survival. For example, without a theocracy, humans would have long ceased to exist, and in the interior of the continent, various empires, kingdoms and nations fight for dominance. They are undead states that are feared. And then there's the corpus of the abyss, the undead night liches and elder liches that are becoming ever stronger, and are apparently also aware that Platinum will become a problem eventually. So there is likely a threshold for atrocities one need to cross to be noticed by this world's senpai. Only when Ainz ooal gave orders to wipe out an entire country, not just conquer a part of it as he did in the past, and rule peacefully over his newly conquered realm, did the tables turn, and Platinum intervened. In other words, Platinum initially had done nothing against Ainz ooal, or at least allowed him to continue undisturbed, because he did more or less the same that happened simply everywhere in the New World. It was only when Ainz waged a war against the kingdom of Ainz that the situation changed, that Ainz became a danger similar to the destructive evil gods who attacked everything and everyone, or the 8 Great Kings. and thus Platinum saw Ainz as a threat to the new world that needed to be stopped. And in contrast to cure Elim, Platinum did not respond with mockery and disdain when Ainz Opandera's actor threw himself in the dust and begged for his life. He initially listened to why Ainz attacked the kingdom of Ainz, but he did not think that an unprovoked attack on a single food transport, something that in Platinum's view likely belongs to the new world, and ended very benignly for the people involved with not a single casualty, would justify the destruction of an entire country along with its population. And therefore he considered Ainz to be a threat that needed to be taken out. In other words, if Ainz had, for example, sought a diplomatic solution after the attack of the grain transport, it could very well be that Platinum would not have attacked him at all, but simply would have let him be. And sadly, those are all the dragons whose opinions of Ainz Ooal we currently know. And with that said, now it's your turn. What do you think about the video and about what Cure Elim and Platinum think about the Overlord? And while you type, I say thank you very much for watching and special thanks to Ada Daddy Ada, Bad Guy Ye, Bad Burrito 316, Bezer, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Dragonlord Plasi du Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feral Shivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Lothrazer, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantum, Personage, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Q&A Caracos P, Shergox is Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rocket Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito 27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenukai, and Zonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.